So lately, I've gotten a lot of questions in videos and especially live streams as to what my favorite tower is. And that's why we talk about this video, why I think the COBRA is the coolest and the most fun tower in Bloons Battles by far, and why you should think it's the most fun as well. So first off, I want to talk about the reasons that people may not like the COBRA, why they think it's lame or boring or stupid or something like that. I mean, I just noticed a lot of YouTubers and hell, even a lot of players will just become visibly upset if they see a COBRA set down in quick battles. And, I mean, that's because the COBRA is only used for one real strategy, the balloon adjustment strategy, which your opponent just places down as many 2-0 COBRAs as possible and balloon adjusts all your balloons to the camel rigor ceramics. Apparently, it works enough to justify using that strategy in high arenas. I haven't run into too many lately, so I'm just playing here with ISAB. He's just, doing it so I can showcase easy baseline ways to defeat it. Because a lot of people think it's a cheap strategy. A lot of people think it's just an easy way to win. And to be honest, it's not really that effective if your opponent has a quarter of a brain. I mean, you do have to know how to defend it. That being said, if you don't know what you're doing, yes, it's going to be extremely overwhelming. But once you just get multiple ways even, easy ways to defend it, it's just basically automatic. So I'll just be showing that in this video. And honestly, this strategy is probably less cheap than rushing on round 13. I mean, the games end maybe round 22 this way, maybe even later. I mean, it takes a while. It's a lot easier and a lot more effective. You just Rigor Rainbow Rush your opponent or Rigor Zebra Rush, and that'll work 5 times better than the COBRA strategy. So why do people think, oh, it's so cheap, it's so stupid, I hate it? It's because they don't know how to defend it. Simple as that. After that, it's like, okay, that's it. It was boring. So the basic easy ways, I mean, there's quite a few of them, but you just have to have towers with lots and lots of pop and power. One really good example is the 2-3 Monkey Ace. Just put that in circle path, maybe get 2 of them opposite from each other, like opposite sides of the circle, and they'll just shred every balloon. Another great way is Juggernauts, Glaive Lords if you're desperate, the Reactor Submarine paired with Bloon Chippers. There's a lot of good ways. Hell, even like Taxures under a village. Anything with massive amounts of pop power. Bomb Tower under a village. But you do have to think about ways that are inexpensive too. The hard part is maybe getting up enough money, but as long as you income well in the early game, it really should not be that much a problem. So as you can see, the defenses showcased here are struggling not much at all against the COBRA spam. And the proper way to actually defeat the strategy, it's a common theme in all these videos, but you just want to rush them with lots of Moabs or BFBs or something like that, because their strategy's main weakness is their lack of Moab popping power. You don't want to send a ZOMG as too slow, and sometimes you don't even want to send a BFB. Sometimes just straight up boosted, fast cooldown Moabs will get the job done. So with that out of the way, now we can talk about why I really enjoy the COBRA so much more than any other towers. And something I really like in multiplayer games is interactivity. You have an opponent to the side of you. They aren't just some random computer. They're a person you can interact with and disrupt their strategies, and they can disrupt yours. And in Bloons Battles, there isn't too much interactivity with the opponent. They're sending balloons, which is often used to kind of screw up a person's farming pattern or, screw up a person's defense, but really that's the only way. And if your opponent is good and can defend most rushes, there's going to be not too much interactivity in a match. I mean, the balloons always unlock at the same time, and it's always the same balloons coming out, so your opponent will just eventually just get into a rhythm and do basically the same strategy every time. It almost becomes mind-numbing, and the COBRA can kind of disrupt that in many ways. Sure, balloon adjustment is one of them, but for what it's worth, it's not that effective. But really, what really can make a difference is both of its 4th tier upgrades, which I think are very, very, very interesting, and it's mainly because of their prices that they're not used that much. So first off, the one on the left side, the one that lets you send balloons one round early, is so cool. There is not another tower in the game like this. And I feel this sort of interactivity needs to be explored, spending money to be able to send Bloons earlier. You know, rushes can be deadly, like a ZOMG in round 22, but you know what's even more deadly? A ZOMG in round 21 or 20. Your opponent will have even less time to prepare. Granted, it'll be a bit more of an all-in from your side, but you know, it's still like a different type of strategy. It changes up each game. You know, and it makes it not identical to the previous one. In the YouTubers Mega Tournament, I brought the Cobra to indoor pools because that was the starting map, and always rushed people on round 12 or round 10, one round earlier than when normal people do rush, which I feel end up just being really effective. Like, I went 3-0 on indoor pools, and I think it's a really cool strategy for the map. But it's really only usable right now on short maps, just because it's so expensive. And I know what you're thinking, well, Tyler, every single upgrade is under $2,000. But still, this is, you know, the overall cost for 4-0 Cobra is pretty close to, I want to say, like 4,000, maybe a bit less, maybe it's like 3,500. And that's 3,500 for, you know, maybe even less, 3,200 for just sending Bloons one round earlier. And in a game where you have as much money as possible, you know, 3,200 isn't quite achievable. I feel the Cobra could really use some price buffs. Like, for example, the 0-0 Cobra, just the base Cobra, I mean, it only costs like, what, 400, 425 now? That could, you know, that could go down to 300. It doesn't even pop many Bloons. Like, honestly, it's barely better than the Dart Monkey. It's certainly worse than the Sniper at popping Bloons. It certainly is. So I feel like you know, a price buff to 300 could be justified. The big offenders are the third tier Cobras, and you know, all they do is make it so the balloon energy and the tower energy, they come back quicker. Which, I mean, that hardly does anything. I haven't seen anyone use that except for maybe when Isab and I got the temple on round 4. That's it. And it's like, in a quick battle, that's literally never going to be used. Why should it cost 500, 400, however much? Like, buff that shit to like 150, 200, because no one's going to buy it just for that upgrade. Almost ever. It's practically useless. And then the Master itself, the 4-0 Cobra. It costs maybe $18.50 right now. It could probably use maybe a slight price buff, just to see, like, you bring it in the battles. It's like some people, you know, bring the Cobra and send out Bloons, you know, rounds earlier because it's so strong. Good. It's a shake-up in the meta. I feel, you know, maybe a cost of 1,200, 1,300, just something like 500 cheaper would probably push it over, make it usable, you know, for an overall 4-0 cost cheapener of like 1,000 overall. Just something to push it into relevance. I feel it could be really, really interesting for a bunch of strategies. Another reason why I just find it so much fun, I'll get back to the tower itself, but just all the dumb shit you can pull off with it. Like, I'm talking, you know, the full map Cobras misdirect everything, the no tower, you know, the no popping challenge, and just even sending a ZOMG. Like, if you go on Boosted Bonanza, you get so much money. Just Cobra spamming makes it so much fun. You can just place down infinite 4-0 Cobras and send a ZOMG on run 5. That's fun because, you know, sometimes your opponent can send it too, and you'll just have an exciting game on round 5, round 6, rather than having to wait all the way until round 22, which is when you can normally send ZOMGs. I think it's really cool in that it can shake up strategy that way. Now, speaking of the misdirect everything, the misdirection ability that the Cobra has is also somewhat unique. It's kind of similar to maybe the boat's ability, but I think it's really, really cool, and I feel it often goes overlooked. Like, it's a cheaper version of the 0-4 boats, the Monkey Pirates, that not only deals with the BFB on your side, but sends it to your opponent, which can be used very strategically. Sometimes that means your opponent has to think twice about what kind of rush they send. Instead of one BFB, you go with multiple fast-going Moebs because Cobras will struggle a bit more against those. Or instead of multiple fast cooldown BFBs, you could drop them one ZOMG or multiple spaced or grouped ZOMGs. I mean, you have to think about it a bit more instead of just mindlessly sending whatever balloons you feel like. And, you know, that brings more strategy in the game. After all, this is a multiplayer strategy game. You you know, that's a tower defense. Tower defense is in the strategy genre, and this tower, this single tower, could bring so much more strategy into the game if its price is just buffed a little bit more to make it viable. Maybe even a lot bit more. Who knows? Dart monkeys are hard to compete with. Unfortunately, a lot of people also, for some reason, have a problem with the attrition Cobra. It doesn't kill you, but it can steal your lives until you have one, which to some people is very scary. But I mean, they just need to learn what they're doing. I mean, the thing is with the Cobra, it can't kill you, and often when you die, usually in late game, you don't leak 1 or 2 balloons. You leak 3 ZOMGs, which will kill you if you have 1 life, you have 150 lives. Hell, even if you have 10,000 lives, they'll still kill you. It doesn't goddamn matter how many lives you have, as long as you have at least 1. I feel a lot of people sweat too much about that. You know, most people don't nowadays, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So overall, that's what I think about the Cobra and why I love it so much. All it really needs is a few decent price buffs to get it into viability. I feel this game could be a lot more fun. People would just be bringing, you know, a little bit of more of a variety of strategies in the quick battles rather than just dart, chipper, farm, or ninja wizard if you want to lose. But either way, I mean, I feel this could be pretty interesting. So comment down below what you think, or, you know, if you like or dislike the Cobra. Hell, even like comment what's your favorite tower. Maybe I'll talk about it in a video. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Live stream tomorrow at Saturday. I actually put up a scheduled live stream. I'm not quite sure if it shows up in your sub feeds, like that I'm gonna have a live stream at noon tomorrow. You know, I should start doing this now. Just at least let me know if that shows up. And yeah, that's when I'll be live streaming. Also video Sunday, yada yada yada. I think you guys know the drill. I hope to see you at the live stream tomorrow. Peace out.